Welcome in Karibuni to Aroma of Zanzibar. Today I bring you this beautiful, soft, garlicky and buttery dinner rolls. So over here I've got all my ingredients and I'll mention them as I go along. I'm going to start with my milk. Please make sure that the milk is warm enough to melt the soft butter. The butter has to be soft. If not, you can melt it separately. And I'm just going to mix this so I can melt the butter. And then to this I added 2¼ teaspoons of yeast, 3 tablespoons of sugar, 1¼ teaspoons of kosher salt, and an egg. Now I'll be using fresh garlic. If you want, you can use garlic salt. And make sure if you're using garlic salt, please reduce the salt from the ingredients. Okay, so I just grated it and I'm going to mix this together. Okay, now I'm ready to add my flour, and I started with 3/4 of a cup. You can do 1 cup, or you can do ½ a cup. It doesn't matter, just make sure that you don't dump all the flour at one time. Okay, so just gradually, and I'm using a wooden spoon as you can see, but you can also use a machine if you want to do this. Okay, this is basically for a lot of people who don't have a machine and they feel that whenever I use a machine that they will not get the same results. So that's why I decide to use my hand. And this is also one of my to-go recipes for rolls. Sometimes I mix it with spinach and cheese, and sometimes I do, I fill them up with tuna or shredded chicken. So I just use this recipe a lot. Just, improvise, add this, take out that, it works out fine. Okay, so once the dough has come together, add the butter. Make sure that the butter is soft enough so that you can knead the dough properly. And you can knead the dough in the same bowl, but I prefer to use a flat surface. So I knead the dough for about 15 minutes, good 15 minutes, and once you press it, it springs back and you know that the dough is ready. And you're just gonna apply some grease in the, bowl or container, whatever you're gonna use. This is to allow the dough to rise properly without sticking on the sides. And my dough took about an hour to rise, but like I always mention, it depends on the area, how it is, okay? So now I'm preparing the fillings, and I've got the filling. I've got about 3 tablespoons of soft butter, and I'm using green onions. You can also use garlic salt over here. And I'm using, again, fresh garlic, and you can use, I'm using 2 cloves. You can use 3 if you want more, and you can cut it down if you're not crazy about garlic. I usually am crazy about garlic, but my kids don't like it much. Otherwise, I would have added more to this. Okay, so you just want to grate it and mix this well. So make sure also that the butter is soft so that it can spread easily. And then now I'm ready with to roll the dough. And you just want to put it on the surface, punch it down to release some air. And I divide it into 2 portions, equal portions. And you just want to make this into a circle so it's easy to roll it out into that particular shape. Okay, so you want to roll this out to probably about 14 to 16 inches round, something like a pizza size. Or you can actually do it bigger than that if you want, depending on how many rolls you want or how thick or thin you want your rolls to be. Okay, so this is just about ready, and I spread my filling. All right, and I had to shift my dough because I need this area to roll my other dough so that you all can see what I'm doing. Okay, so now I'm rolling the second portion of my dough, and what I did was I rolled the second part of the dough, the second portion. The circle was a bit smaller than the first one, okay? And you can also try to do this like how you do the cinnamon roll. If you don't want to go through this hassle, you can do just one sheet. Okay, so now you put the second one on top of the first one, and then just press it down. And then I have to move back. And then you can see I've got the lower one is bigger than the inner one. The bottom, the outer one is, the outer one is bigger than the inner one. Okay, so now, as you can see, I'm pulling it, and I want the beginning to be all to get same. And then you just want to roll it slowly and a little bit tight, because you don't want the filling to come out when you bake. Okay, and that's it. And now I'm going to seal my seam. And this is why I do the outer one bigger than the inner one, because I find it difficult to seal the seam when I have two sheets of dough or pastries, if you want to call it. Okay, so I just want to pinch it with the bottom one and the top one, and then press it firmly. And there you go. It sticks and stays good. The seam should have gone at the bottom, but I forgot about it. So now I just want to oil the pan, whatever you're using. I'm using olive oil here. I don't like to use butter in this today, because it burns easily and fast, so I don't want my rolls to be too dark at the bottom. And I've cut this into an inch tall. You can make them smaller if you want, or you can make them taller than this. And like I say, if you want more, then you may need to roll your dough in bigger circles so that you get more rolls. I got about 9. You can easily go to 12 without affecting the size of it. Okay, and then make sure that when you line them up, you leave a little space to allow them to spread when they rise, and also to spread, bake well, when we are ready to bake. Okay. All right, and so you can serve these with anything that you like, pasta, soup, salad. I served this with a meatloaf and of course some veggies. And you want to cover this and let it rise for the second time. So my second time took about 45 minutes, of course, because I was cooking, so my kitchen was a little bit warmer than the first time. Okay, now I'm ready to prepare my egg wash, and of course it's just an egg with a teaspoon of water. You can use just egg white, but don't add water if you're using egg white, and yellow alone. Or you can also warm up some milk, and apply it on the rolls. That will also give a color. Okay, the egg wash basically gives a nice golden color. And my heat is on 375 Fahrenheit, which is about 190 Celsius. And this will bake for about 20 minutes. So here we are. You see how nice and beautiful and golden, and then you just want to add some butter while they're still hot. So the butter can melt in very well. It can be melted butter. Mine is not melted. So it melts in and makes your rolls much buttery and softer and beautiful, extra beautiful. They're already beautiful. And this is what I want to show you. They are crispy on the outside and nice and soft on the inside, and really, really buttery, and I love the garlic in there. So thank you so much. For more recipes, please visit me at Aroma of Zanzibar. And if you like what you're seeing and you don't want to miss anything else, please subscribe to my channel, and you will also find the recipe, the ingredients and the measurement on this page and in the description box below.